They called it a paradise, humans called it Tuesday. Deathworld classification shock. The planet Arvan 6 glowed like a jewel from orbit. Lush continents wrapped in emerald jungles, sapphire oceans streaked with phosphorescent currents, and skies painted in permanent dawn hues of violet and gold. To the coalition of civilized species, it was the most extraordinary find in centuries, an unspoiled paradise. The surveyors filed their reports in reverent tones. Atmosphere, breathable with negligible toxins. Gravity, stable. Climate, temperate, fertile. Biodiversity, abundant and thriving. The consensus was immediate. Arvan 6 was a Class 1 haven world. An Eden. The first mistake was inviting humans to help colonize it. 1. The Garden of Terror. Trell, a lanky Thrivian botanist, accompanied the first wave of settlers. His people were herbivores from a placid world where the most dangerous creature was a stinging vine. Even the word predator was a historical relic to them, like sailboat or candle. As Trell stepped onto the planet's soil, he inhaled deeply, savoring the scent of blossoms carried on the breeze. He nearly wept. "It is," he whispered, "paradise." A human, lugging 3 crates on his back, snorted. "It's Tuesday." Trell's head fins twitched. "What does that mean?" The human, a woman named Sergeant Riley, shrugged. "Looks like the kind of place we'd take our kids camping. Bit muggy, though. Probably mosquitoes the size of your head hiding somewhere." Trell's gills fluttered. "Mose, what?" Riley only grinned. 2. Signs of trouble. By the 3rd day, the paradise had shown its teeth. The soil erupted with burrowing razor worms that snapped at ankles. The rivers teemed with sleek, camouflaged hunters that dragged livestock under without a ripple. Flowers released clouds of spores that clung to lungs like glue, choking the unprepared. The coalition settlers panicked. Many refused to leave the domed habitats. Others petitioned to reclassify Arvan 6 as a deathworld of at least Class 5. But the humans thrived. Trell witnessed them trekking into the jungle in minimal gear, swatting away venomous insects, laughing when spines grazed their skin. They returned with exotic fruits slung over their shoulders, cuts and bruises treated with casual efficiency. "They should be dead," Trell whispered, watching Riley and her crew roast some scaly river beast over an open fire. Riley bit into the meat, juices running down her chin. "You just gotta cook it long enough. Tastes like chicken." Trell had no idea what a chicken was, but judging from the other humans' delighted chewing, it must have been a delicacy. 3. Deathworld classification meeting. The council convened after 2 weeks of paradise. The room buzzed with outrage. "This is not a haven," screeched a Valari ambassador, feathers puffed in indignation. "My staff cannot even walk outside without being attacked by winged razors. The rivers are ambush zones," added a Zyeth commander, tendrils quivering. "We lost an entire skimmer to the things that lurk beneath the surface." Even Trell raised his voice. "The spores from the flowering trees have hospitalized dozens. Surely this is a Class 5 deathworld at minimum." All eyes turned to the human delegation. Riley leaned back in her chair, arms folded. "Class 5. Nah. Class 2 tops. Maybe 3 if you're squishy." "Squishy?" Trell squeaked. Riley smiled pleasantly. "Look, back on Earth we've got jungles nastier than this. Australia? Brazil? You don't wanna know. Honestly, this place is pretty chill once you know what to look out for." The council chamber erupted in horrified protests. 4. Field trip. The council insisted on evidence. Riley volunteered to guide a mixed-species expedition. Trell, against his better judgment, was chosen to observe. They marched into the jungle at dawn. Within minutes, a predator the size of a transport drone dropped from the canopy, mandibles wide. The alien delegates screamed. Riley casually shouldered her rifle and shot it between the eyes. "See. Easy. Easy," Trell stammered. "Back home we had tigers," Riley said conversationally. "Bigger. Smarter. Faster. At least this thing was polite enough to announce itself." Hours later, the group encountered a field of vibrant flowers. Trell warned of the choking spores. Riley tied a bandana over her mouth, set fire to the field, and marched through the smoking ash. "Sometimes you gotta make your own trail," she explained cheerfully. By evening, when a river creature tried to drag Trell under, Riley dove in after him. She wrestled the monster until it fled, then hauled Trell sputtering onto the bank. She grinned. Tuesday. Trell decided then that humans were either blessed by gods or completely insane. Possibly both. 5. The reclassification. When the council reconvened, Trell delivered his report. His fins quivered with both fear and awe. Arvon 6 cannot be called a haven world, he said firmly. Its ecosystems are hostile, its predators relentless, its flora hazardous. By all metrics, it deserves classification as a death world. Riley raised an eyebrow. However, Trell gulped. Humans do not recognize it as such. They consider it routine. The chamber fell silent. An elder Valari spoke at last. If this is routine for humans, then their true homeworld must be worse, Trell whispered. The council's consensus was grim. Earth was reclassified as a Class 7 death world, a rank reserved for planets so hostile that survival itself was a miracle. The revelation rippled across the galaxy. For the first time, the coalition understood, humanity had not merely survived its cradle. It had tamed it. 6. Culture shock. Reactions varied. The Zioth military studied human combat logs with sudden reverence. The Valari rewrote their diplomatic manuals, reminding ambassadors never to provoke humans lightly. The Thrivians simply prayed. Trell, however, found himself drawn back to Riley. He asked her once, trembling, "Why are you not afraid? This planet kills us so easily." Riley shrugged. "Because that's life. You think Earth was any kinder to us? Half the animals wanted to eat us, the weather tried to drown us, freeze us, or fry us, and the diseases were worse than any predator. But we kept going. Learned to fight. Learned to adapt. Learned to tame." She smiled faintly. "Honestly, this place feels a little nostalgic." 7. The shockwave. Word spread faster than light across the communication relays. Humans call a deathworld paradise. Races that had once dismissed humanity as fragile upstarts now looked upon them with a mixture of terror and awe. Here was a species that treated lethal predators as pets, called lethal environments home, and laughed in the face of nature's fury. And worse, humans didn't see themselves as extraordinary. To them, it was just Tuesday. 8. Epilogue. Months later, Trell returned to Arvon 6. The humans had built villages without domes, farms beside rivers that still teemed with hidden jaws, schools beneath the canopy of spore trees. Children, human children, played outside, chasing each other through grass where venomous serpents slithered. One girl paused to scratch behind the mandibles of a juvenile predator beast. It wagged its spiked tail and purred. Trell clutched his field notes with trembling hands. "This is not paradise," he wrote. "This is survival. And the humans wear it like a second skin." Far above, the council debated new classifications and new strategies. But on the ground, among the humans, life carried on. Because for them, it was just Tuesday.